this is me sharing background story to me. I wrote JAM my first year in university. I wrote JAM again my second year in university. When I came back from Haiti into A level, I met two gigantic Fs. I knelt down and sincerely prayed that God, people hear you. Me too, let me hear you. And I just heard in my spirit. It was like someone came to tell me and came to my ears and said, hello and welcome back to my channel. This video is just going to be about us gisting while I make my hair. So I will just take you guys through what I have in front of me. I got this from Amazon. I could leave the link in the description. This mirror helps me see the back of my head. In the turning, then I could turn around again and see the other part. And it can hang. It has a long arm. For a natural hair like mine, this shine and jam does the magic. I use this to peg my hair down. Then this comb is a miracle worker. I bought it to spread my baby's feeding bottles when I give birth to her, but I've not been using it, so I converted it to this, nothing wastes in my hand. As you guys can see, I've made the hair. I've done all these parts already, so I'm left with this part, which I'm running through with you guys. So I will show you guys how I've been braiding one by one. This is Boho Braids and it's all about the coils. So what I did is I've added 1, 2, 3, 4 coils to each. Then I added a bit to the tip so that I have some like this, so that I don't have to tie the tip. How did I get here? How exactly? If you asked me about 3 years back if I'll ever make my hair myself, I'll tell you, no, I'm not gonna do that shit. That is not for me. Although I could make hair right from time, but I never considered making my hair myself. But guys, abroad will teach you certain things. Some of us already know that making hair abroad is expensive, but also availability is part of it. Like for me, I moved into a new apartment, which is far away from my friend who helps me make my hair. Then it's pricey if you consider making your hair frequently. And most people abroad, I think they go for these two options. Either they make their hair themselves or they lock their hair. And maybe after this video I'm gonna lock my hair also, because guys, doing this is a lot of work but not impossible really. So today is a gist hair kind of video, so I'm just going to take you guys through how I'm going to start off with this hair and make it while we get into the gist of the day. Stay tuned. So this partitioning really helps, really. I have my hair partitioned. And another secret, guys, if you are lazy like me with making your hair, do box braid. So it just helps you regulate the size of the hair and helps you get the accurate sizing. I remember watching all those movies, some movies from Nigeria, and I felt, oh my god, this person is painting his house himself. Is it that he loves painting? Now I understand. They don't love painting. They have to paint it. I want to show you guys something. If you can see this back part of my hair, this back part, there's an intersection. So the idea is 2 straight lines doesn't meet at each line. So because this is on a straight line, the next one isn't going to be on the straight line. So when I was making this part, I cut out some for the middle. You realize that the next one is basically on the middle. Then this other one has a part I pinched out from this side, so that I'm going to cut a part of this side here. So that's what box braid does. It has to be some kind of interception. So I need to secure this part. Now to the gist. What's the gist about? So this is me sharing like a background story to me. I mean, things that it's majorly the close people to me that know about it. But I felt it might be useful to someone today that I'm making my hair, and I felt, okay, let's talk about this. Growing up, I grew up with my grandmom, and that's because my mom, at the time she had me, she was still schooling, and so they were having difficulties with my kindergarten. My dad told me how he got to my kindergarten one day and found that I was crying, and my supposed nanny just ignored me and said that's how I cry. And my dad was just like, no, this is not gonna happen to his child, he's gonna take me. And so that was how he took me to my grandmom. That's my mom's mom. And the intention was that I stayed here a while, but after a while my grandmom insisted that that place was good for me, they should just let me be, which I do not regret, by the way, but of course it wasn't a smooth road. So why am I talking about this? So I got to grandma's place. I think it was less than 1 year plus, I don't know. You know the way grandma's house can be now, being in the midst of uncles and aunties, all these elderly people. So seeing me, most of the time people saw a bright child and felt, oh, this girl is so bright, this girl is so smart, and the next thing they could think of is she'll be a medical doctor. And you know, I wouldn't blame them, because you know that was the reality as at then. So it was so real that if I visited this grandpa, I'd be like, ah, smart girl, don't worry, be a doctor, right? Be a doctor. So my parents bought the idea, and I think majorly because of the financial status quo. At the time, doctors were wealthy. In fact, healthline were wealthy. And since I was that small, they packed it and inserted into my head, you'll be a doctor, you'll be a doctor, you'll be a doctor. And a child that I was now, I felt, oh, that's the right thing to do. That's the biggest thing to do. So I also saw it as an ambition, like, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor. And guys, I carried that since I was young. I mean, since far back, since I knew my name, I've always wanted to be a doctor due to all of that. Then the journey began. Right from primary school, my school bag was this big because I was always bent, you know, trying to read and all of that. I did extra lessons being in primary school. So getting to secondary school, I went to a boarding school, and in a boarding school, it was tough for me. I stayed with grandma. Grandma had house helps, so I was not doing anything at home. So it was hard for me to balance work, you know, hostel now. You clean yourself, you fetch your water, all of that. It was really strenuous on me, and I didn't do really well in secondary school. But wonderfully, to God be the glory, I came out with a good WAEC result, which I really thank God for. It was not as easy. So because of the struggles in my secondary school, I got on serious with my JAMB. I didn't do JAMB well. So I had to enter for microbiology. And so my dad was like, okay, now we're gonna have two plans. Okay, now that you have an admission for microbiology, you still write JAMB while you try to make a first class or a second class upper so that you can continue in one of those schools that study medicine. You know, that was the thing then, that if you graduate with BCH or microbiology, you can start with 200 level for medicine, you know. And I took that ambition like my life. Those that went to the same university as me, in my sets, can bear me witness. I was so much of a bookworm, and that was because of, you know, the whole growing up thing, what I thought my smartness could be. And yeah, it just defined my destiny that I'm so smart and medicine was the right thing to do. And guys, the roller coaster. I was on first class. I wrote JAMB my first year in the university. I wrote JAMB again my second year in university, and I was on first class. I was on 2-1. So I was holding those two tight. And for the schools I chose in my first choice and second choice, each year I chose a school. In fact, I remember choosing from my state of origin university. So, you know, my dad was like, if you choose this university, they have no choice but to choose you because you're from the States. I think the year I chose it, they told me that it was disaccredited or something. Then the next year I chose Ocean State University because my dad was like, it's new. That year we were told that they're supposed to have been licensed, but they've not yet been licensed, something like that. So we have to wait. So at that point I was already in 200 level, and you know, 300 level was going to get busy. I was going to be doing SciWest and all. So we thought about it that if I keep doing this JAMB so I don't lose the 2-1. So my dad was like, okay, let's just stop. So when I was in school, I gave my life to Christ, and I got inquisitive. I just wanted to know what God had for me. Because of course, at some point, I listened to teachings that insinuated that sometimes we have goals in life, but God has a different plan. So I just wanted to know what God had for me. And I remember one of those days, I was in church. Okay, I went to RCF. So I didn't know who was talking, if it was a mama. But I remember the person saying she heard God. And I was like, so people hear God in this world. God, me call, like, let me to hear God now. I remember going back home, and I got home and I knelt down and sincerely prayed that God, people hear you. Me too, let me hear you, you know. So not long after then, I was really trusting God for what He would have me do in my life. And I can tell you that shortly after that, I began to have encounters with God. And one of the encounters was when I was in class one day. Before that day, I was already praying, telling God, just let me know, what would you have me do? Is this medicine really the thing for me? Because, you know, I was seeing signs. But, you know, I just didn't understand. I needed to know what path my life was going to follow. You know, that point in your life where you just think, I need God. I need to know what I'm doing. That was the point I was at. So I was like, God, what is it about my life? Like, is this medicine the thing for me? I kept asking, but, you know, I would ask, I trust that it was not asking and staying there waiting that God will speak. Just trusting God that somehow He will communicate to me His heart. Because around that time, I also got baptized in the Holy Spirit, and I did read books on how God speaks to you, different ways and all that. So one day I was in class and I was watching my lecturer teach, and just all of a sudden, like someone came to whisper in my ears, but there was nobody because we were all in class. Like it was a full lecture time and everyone was focused, and like if you know me very well, I'm a very serious person. And I just heard in my spirit, it was like someone came to tell me. And it's something I could never have thought about. There was no way I would have thought about it because I was so much in a confused state. And like someone just spoke to my ears and said, as if someone was invigilating and came to my ears and said, this is where you belong. That was how it sounded. I will never forget. And that word, how many years now? I think that should be around 2013. That should be like 11 years ago. And I just heard the voice like, this is where you belong. I was like, this is where I belong. What does that mean? This is where I belong. So I sought counsel from one of the brothers in our church that I could confide in. And he just said that I should just keep trusting God concerning it. Trusting God for clarity, and with time I'm going to know what that means. So with time it now began to look like I could now begin to think of being a doctor truly, like seeing blood. Like, yeah, I can't see blood. You know, that was when it dawned on me how irritated I can feel at things. So it was just like, no, this is not it, you know. Before I could get the boldness to tell my parents, because, you know, remember I told you that it's been a lifelong ambition. So I couldn't even tell them until my final year. This happened in 200 level, I think. It's either 200 level or 300 level. And when I came back from high T in 300 level, I met two gigantic Fs. I've never had Fs in my life. And I was in a notorious department in my school. I schooled at Ekiti State University, and if you mention microbiology in Ekiti State University at the time, people will tell you, say, no, don't even go there. If you're watching this video and you were in my school, maybe we're in the same set or not, please, you can bear me witness to this, you know. So I never had Fs. And the worst part of it, the courses I had F in, I remember writing those papers and I felt, hi, I too know this thing. That was the kind of exam it was. Zoo. I'm doing biochemistry, I'm doing microbiology, I'm doing statistics. Is this zoo? I'm not gonna fail, you know. I knew it too much, but I had Fs, and that caused a downfall for my GPA. So fast forward to when I was graduating and my GPA would be calculated. My GPA was 3.49. So let me give you a background story to that GPA. So at the time I entered university, the school I got admission into was called University of Ekiti. So after my first year, Ekiti State meshed all the universities together to form Ekiti State University. That's Ifaki plus UNAD plus one other, I think, I can't remember, to form one university for Ekiti State. So where I was coming from, I was in first class. So being meshed to UNAD, you know now, principalities, you know, all those principality lecturers we used to have or we normally have. So my school was segregated with them, or is, I don't know about now. And I remember my level code telling me that, so if we're having first class from wherever you're coming from that year, if I can, come and have first class here, you get. So in my mind, I was just like, I don't even need your first class. with my 2-1, I'm good. So fast forward, just somehow, we just got a news in my department that we did too much courses, and so they're going to take off some courses. And for me, it just meant those 2 F courses. But meanwhile, it already affected my result. I never had F. We did our finals. I went home, and getting back, I was expecting my name will be amongst the graduating students. And that year, my department was so notorious that out of about 100 plus of us, just 30 graduated. I mean, really a department. So when I got back, my level call knew me, and it was like, Hilary, what happened? I was like, excuse me, what happened? Why is my name not in the graduating list? And it went, this, that. Some of my results were missing. Oh God. Then he began to look for, what? At the end of the day, when he would compute my result, that was when he said 3.49. But already, I wasn't going to serve with my mates because their names had gone before he could find my result and all that. So I had to wait an extra year. It's now that the whole thing makes sense. That God had told me before that this is where you belong. Like, the microbiology you're doing is where you belong. You don't need to do medicine. And I was still asking him somehow, that Lord, how about my life? What's going to happen to me? And all of that. He said, marry. I married. So I'm going to continue this year before I continue the rest. So we got married, and in my mind I was just like, okay, I've obeyed and I'm married now, so I'm just going to have the time to run my master's program or do something meaningful with myself, and myself and my husband, we agreed we're not going to have children until a while, that we're going to wait. Do you understand? So I didn't know God was planning me ahead of time. In a nutshell, I was already pregnant at maybe first week of my second week. Like, I got pregnant very early, and that really affected me because we had it all planned out. We had gone for family planning in advance and all, and that felt really bad for me, because this is someone who all my life I've been ambitious. Growing up, it's been about an ambition, And so it was so hard. The transitioning was hard because at that point I was feeling, okay, so what's the point of all this? I couldn't just even put myself together. That was when, because after I finished school and the results still was like that, I felt like it's fine as far as that's what God wants, So I went to serve. I just continued as if nothing happened. So it was at the point I got pregnant, I felt, no, this is just the end. How am I going to do it? Because it felt like the end of the road, because I'm going to now have a kid. And once you have a kid, you've got a kid. There's no, now today I'm not responsible for any human. You are responsible all the days of your life. So I felt, Lord, I felt like this is the end of the road for me. Like, I can't do anything anymore. Now I'm a mom. Guys, I went into depression straight up. I just couldn't make meaning of it, make sense of it. This is someone that growing up, it has been about being a medical doctor and all. So this part of being married and having a kid. And meanwhile, guys, I got into school very early. I entered university at the age of 16. With strike and all of that. Maybe spent like 6 years in the university. So I got married early. At the time, I really didn't want to get married at that time. I wanted to build a career path, then get married, but the instruction was get married. Then I got married and I'm like, okay, I'll get married now. And I have time for myself. I will at least build a career path before I have babies. Now I have a baby. Oh God, I just lost it. And I went down into that pit hole of depression, and it really took God to bring me out of that. It took God to work on my mind, to see a different identity of myself. All the while I saw myself as that smart kid that is supposed to do medicine. I can't waste my brain on other courses. I should be doing medicine, that kind of thing. And so when I fell into that ditch, God needed to just show me another identity of myself. That was just what was going to help me, and that was what did. Because I remember while I was in that place, I was calling out to God, but I was just, I lost interest for anything. I didn't want to do anything. I was crying most of the time. I just felt useless to myself. I didn't want to show up on social media. Even on WhatsApp, I won't post any status. Just that ridiculous, But when God would bring me out of that, He started by giving me Isaiah 60. See, when I began to read Isaiah 60, it didn't make sense to me. It felt like, they're telling some people, not me. How does it tally with me, But each time I read it, it felt alive. It felt like that's me, And I grew to the point that I began to look myself in the mirror and read Isaiah 60. Even now, when I read Isaiah 60, it's like a new revelation pops up. I'm like, wow, this is me. This is me. So it feels like God has been telling me about myself from that scripture. And that has created a new identity. And now, I don't feel like medicine defines me. Nothing defines me. Nothing. Except that word. Like, until that word is erased from the Bible, then I will lose it again and feel like I'm without purpose. Why am I telling all this story? We're in the beginning of the year, and I don't know what kind of demand the world has placed on you, or people around you has placed on you, and you feel you have to fulfill, or you feel at it and you feel you're a failure and you feel you're worthless. No, find yourself in God. In fact, you could even start with Isaiah 60. Seriously. You could start with it. But I really don't feel that anyone should be put in a box. There is more to us. And even as human beings, we are multifunctional. Do you understand? You can function as A and function as B. Okay, that reminds me of, so the while I was reading Isaiah 60 and all of that, so one day I was in my kitchen, I was like, okay, God, so what's now the purpose, the whole purpose? Because many people saw me as that bookworm, that girl that will be a professor and all. Then you brought me out of that and began to make me prosper in a lot of things. If you don't know, I'm also a fashion designer. Like you can see, I make hair very well. I love to talk. I sing. I do a lot of things well. And I was asking God, so what is now it about me? Like, why did I have to go through that? At that point, I was still finding a sense of purpose because all the things I could do were just like talent. Like, I can do this, I can do that. But none of it was yielding. None of it looked like a profession I'm into. And I was just asking God, so what is it about my life? Then again, I heard that in my spirit again. I never thought of that. There's no way I would have comforted myself out of that because I was just asking. I really wanted to know. And I heard Him say to me that I have an excellent spirit, that whatever I do prospers. And the only one person that tells me that since I've been young is my grandmom. She just has a way that she knew it that whatever Tolu is doing, she does it well. So that statement I heard reminded me of my grandmom always saying that. And seriously, that has been my personality. Like, I don't like anything having my name on it and not doing well and not doing fine. And some people call me a perfectionist, but it's just, I just love things done the right way. And somehow I prosper at all the things I've done. I've been in the fashion industry. I sold for a lot of people. No one ever returned their clothes. I spoiled it and I can take it. No. Like, I've had a good journey so far. Like, now I cook for a living and all of those things, and I do them perfectly well. So now, this thing I said, an excellent spirit, all that I do prospers, is in the Bible. It's for every child of God. So it's not just a personality thing. So like, I'm just here encouraging you. I don't know what you might be going through. And I don't even know that thing you think, oh, I can't do it. Like, do not write yourself off, especially to moms. You see, most of us, in those days when they tell you that parents don't like to waste their money on girl child because they hand it up in a man's house in the kitchen. That statement is actually reality. Any woman you see out there doing exceptionally well for themselves and also taking care of their family, just know it that they've gone an extra mile. It is human and natural, but not easy for us to cater for everyone. So in the means of doing that, catering it takes a lot of time. I mean, for your family, it takes a lot of time and all of that. And you end up not, because a lot of time, days turns to months to years. And so you end up forgetting yourself in that journey. So any woman you see thriving in any sector and also thriving in her family, taking care of her kids, they are doing a lot of work. And this is just me saying it might be hard, but it's possible. it's possible to live our dreams while we parent, while we be moms, you know. So that's just the long and short of this gist. It's just me giving a breakdown of where I'm coming from and how far I've come, and it's been God all the way, and it can also be that to you. It's just me encouraging someone, like, never feel terrible about yourself, that you're a failure and all of that. Find your identity and purpose in God, in God, in God, because that's the only identity that no one can erase. The only way your identity can be erased in this life is if the word of God is erased. So let me go and finish my hair. Yeah, so guys, to the last track. This is the time we have been waiting. Oh, I'm so excited. Like, I didn't plan for this hair to be this much. I don't know how I got here. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention, guys, if this video has been of value to you, make sure to like and please share your thoughts, comment, so that my video gets to other people like you who would like to watch this. To the excitement. Yeah, we are done. We are done. Can you see? Wow. Is it heavy? A bit. I'm just going to style it with styling wheels. It's not as heavy as I was expecting. I didn't use 2 extensions. I used just one. So the major content of this braid is the coils. I love the lines. The lines are really cute.
I'm way up on the coke and